let's talk about some of the back end pain points that can rear up as we're considering this. So, first things first, the logistics as far as importing, if you're importing internationally, sea and air rates have skyrocketed unbelievably so to the point where, as cost prohibitive as air shipping rates used to be, they are so expensive now that you need to have a profit margin, say, on the order of 50% plus, 70% plus, in order for you to even consider the current air rates. Okay. Now, the sea shipping lanes have been extremely congested. And because of the laws of supply and demand, those rates have shot up. In fact, there are certain types of sea shipping rates that are almost the same as air rates in 2019 or 2018 and so on and so forth. So, or, during the holiday. So logistically, um, this has been going on for months now. There has been no reprieve. I think in July there were a couple weeks, somewhere in June through July, there were a couple weeks of reprieve where, oh, there was well, I wouldn't say ample. That would have been the wrong word, but booking capacity was freed up a little bit more, so it felt like there was some breathing room. But then that got bought up by everybody else. So the shipping activity in July was equivalent to the shipping activity you expect for Q4. In other words, the shipping activity in July is something we expected to occur in, say, like September or October. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy how demand and activity has been pulled forward a couple months, 2, 3, 4 months at a time, and it's really been a squeeze again to the seller. So maybe I think I'll talk about it in another slide, but it goes back to the seller being the most agile. So you're going to have to anticipate mishaps and hiccups and failures more so than ever before with your partners and the services you've been accustomed to. But you yourself, you need to be extremely adept and flexible and agile. Okay. So when we're looking at things domestically, um, now, at the time of this recording, we've been hearing the news about significant delays in the United States Postal Service, but UPS as well. There's been delays and there's been some budget retractions at UPS. So these budget retractions have actually caused UPS rates to jump and also to on to basically it's basically a situation where even UPS is having trouble delivering things on time, and they don't have sufficient capacity to do so. Whether it's through the trucks or the warehouses, I'm not quite sure, but their deliveries are already experiencing delays. Now, for the Postal Service, we've seen all the headlines with the budgeting, with the overtime, with holiday, with capacities, with machinery. So um, that we're feeling that pain right now. Imagine if Q4 2020 were to roll along, the Postal Service, we're not even, we're not, we're, it's going to be interesting to see if they reach a choking point. Well, let me just say it'd be interesting to see what will happen, how they will adapt to Q4 2020. Okay. Next point, warehousing. Now, the the space that was available in warehouses across the country, especially on the West Coast, has pretty much virtually been gobbled up since as late as May, as May or June. Okay, and through the grapevine, there have been um, there have been pending deals, and there have been offers where warehouses have been listed, And there's been people that have been interested in buying warehouses where Amazon comes in from out of nowhere and just pulls a rug from out of them and outbids them and buys them. So Amazon has been on a quest to increase their warehousing space by 50% in the second half of 2020 alone. Okay. So, so, so far we've been talking about congestion with the shipping lanes. Now we're talking about congestion in the warehouses. So your products, if they're coming in internationally, if you got lucky and you're able to secure good rates and you're able to get your product in on time, great. Hopefully, you're not going to run into a situation where you cannot even find a warehouse to transload your product. And by transload, or you transload your shipment or your inventory. By transloading, that simply means dropping off your goods, which is floor loaded, and to get that palletized so that it's ready to ship off into Amazon or another fulfillment house. So several of my colleagues and I have been having a lot of issue trying to reach out and establish partnerships with warehouses so that we have we're confident that if warehouse A has all their space taken up, then at least we could try calling warehouse B, C, or D. Okay. All right, so moving on to the last point, Amazon FBA, there's been Prime shipping delays. So for any of you guys who have been ordering products on Amazon and you're a Prime member, when was the last time you received a product within 1 or 2 days? Okay. And the second part of this point is that Amazon FBA receiving timeframes have been extremely delayed. We've heard, so typically receiving timeframes have been in a typical year, and during a typical time of the year would be, say, 2 or 3 days. We have seen and have heard receiving delays stretch out to 4 weeks. In the month of July, not even in the month of October or November, which is traditionally when so many sellers are trying to all replenish their goods in Amazon FBA warehouses at the same time. So do account for that.